Hi everybody, welcome back. We're still working on Psalm 91. We're moving on to verse 2 for draw for Bible memory. This is what we did. If you missed it, I'll put this in the description. This was Psalm 91:1. Today we're moving on to verse 2, and you can check this all out and see all my content at thelampformyfeet.com. Verse 2 says, I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. So for I, let's do another I. And we did this on another video because there's lots of I's. And you can really adapt this if your kids are younger and this is just too hard. Just do a simple little I. You could do a face with an I and point to the I, right? You wouldn't have to actually even draw an I if you don't want to. But if you've got older kids and maybe you want to teach a few little drawing concepts, that's always really fun too. We're going to give just a little eyebrow. We won't get too much into the minutia. So we have I will say of the Lord. And so for say, let's just do a mouth. Simple. Let's make this one really simple. A happy mouth. Will say of the Lord. So this is person saying of the Lord. So let's do kind of a speech bubble. And in here, we call this kind of our long-haired Jesus. Let's give him kind of some long hair. And we kind of give him like a robe. Maybe he's got his little hands there. He's got maybe he's got one of these things on where the fabric kind of goes across. There's his little toes. So this is kind of our little long-haired Jesus. Say of the Lord. And if we think we might forget Lord, let's put an L. I will say of the Lord. And let's just kind of shade this in so this will pop a little bit. Okay. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. So we're going to go to refuge and fortress and then we'll back up because we want to have room for this. So we're going to do a little fortress here. And this will be a great time. You can look up some fortresses. There's some really cool pictures of fortresses. And talk about and teach your kids how people would go to a fortress to be protected. And they would be behind these huge brick walls. And there would maybe be little tiny windows like this where people would look through. And men would stand up here and protect everybody on the inside. And since this is made of brick, what I like to do instead of trying to draw straight lines all the way across, just get your marker going and then just start your brickwork, and it can just kind of fade off because we kind of get the idea. Now, if you have somebody that likes to do that all the way across, this should fit your family and what works for you, not what works necessarily for me or anybody else. Now, since this is representing a refuge and a fortress, we decided to do refuge and fortress. You could even do a little flag. Do little flags with an R and F to remind you this is representing a refuge and a fortress. And God is our protective refuge and fortress. In fact, it says, He is my refuge and my fortress. Since we have a He, and a lot of times we show God in that little cloud with the sun, even though, again, God is not up in the sky, let's just do a little tiny one here with an H to remind us He is our refuge and fortress. So we have, I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and fortress. And the end of verse 2 says, my God in whom I will trust. So let's do for my God. We're going to go back again. You're going to get really good at these little clouds with our little happy sun. Now, if you have something else that represents God to you, switch it out and use that. And we're going to do a G. In fact, let's do MG. My God. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and fortress, my God, in, and this one's easy. We typically, for in, we just do a little can or cup, in, and that works for in whom. This one's kind of fun. I wonder if you guys will kind of know what I'm doing here. I think this part's going to give it away. What is that kind of looking like? He's our little owl with three little, let's give him like a little, he's got little wings. You could kind of give him some little, there we go. Owls say who, but it's whom. So we're going to add an M. And we could even do a little speech bubble there if we wanted. My God, in whom, and that's fun, in whom I trust. And for trust, we're just going to do some simple little shaking hands. So do your kind of your first little hand. And then your second hand kind of has a thumb here. And you kind of can see a little bit at the bottom of his hand. And then his arm goes out. So we're just getting the idea. And let's do our T here, in whom I trust. When you shake hands, you can talk to your kids about how that's sort of showing trust. And that's something we do. That's a sort of a social custom for greeting and to kind of show respect and trust. So we have, I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and fortress, my God in whom I trust. And if you think the I, you could do another little I. If you think maybe you need that, put a little I in here. If not, if you're getting the flow, you've got it. Okay, let's do it one more time. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and fortress, my God in whom I trust. So there you have Psalm 91 verse 2. Stay tuned for verse 3 coming up. Thanks, guys.